I'd like to talk about feeling psychologically safe and what that means for me. But before that, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Ghazala at the Heart and Soul Cafe. If you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. And if you're here for the first time, then you're very, very welcome. So, do you feel psychologically safe? That's really what this video is about. There was a professor from Harvard Amy Edmondson, who came up with this definition of psychologically safe. So the definition is more or less, I might not get it word for word, but talking about, do you feel safe enough to air your opinion, to ask questions, to maybe think outside of the box a little bit? And, do you feel safe enough to do that, or comfortable enough to do that, or air your concerns, or have a point of view that you feel, I don't think that many people are going to agree with me? And would that stop you? So if it would stop you from sharing or asking questions, then you're probably not in a psychologically safe environment. And in order for people to learn and thrive and grow and bring ideas to the table and their points of view, we need to feel psychologically safe. So for the workplace or for a classroom, we need a psychologically safe environment so that people can feel that they are not, tied back for whatever reason. And what are those reasons? It's fear, isn't it? Fear of being punished in some way, or fear of being humiliated, or made to feel ashamed of what you've thought about, or what you've aired, or what you've asked. And we're in this society now where I feel that we, this politically correct society where we're so quick at pointing fingers, how dare you say this, and how dare you say that. And I think a little bit of tolerance would be a good thing, to allow people to make little mistakes and learn from them. See it as an opportunity to learn, to grow, to evolve, rather than, a time, an opportunity for others to point fingers and say, what a ridiculous idea that is, and, how did you even think of it? And that kind of thing, sort of shaming people. And if we shame people, we are really dampening down on that person's, gifts. Because any gifts that person does have then get dampened down as well. And it might have been a bad idea, but then so what? So what if it was a bad idea? Okay. And we can criticize each other without having the upper hand on somebody. We can, make, criticism in a way where it's a respectful way, and it's a way where we are all learning and making people feel that we all make mistakes, and we can all, sometimes think of ridiculous ideas, and that's okay. It's the way the human brain works, and that's all right. But to sort of just shun people and just slam the door in their face is really just giving the wrong message. And just think about how many good ideas that person may come up with in the future that they are too fearful to sort of share because of the, outcome of the last, point of view that they had. And that is a shame, isn't it? That absolutely is a shame, because we can be good at so many different things. We can bring so many different things to the table. If we're talking about the working environment, a working place, well, diversity in working environments are really, really important. People from, different walks of life, people who have experienced different things and speak different languages and have different points of view about things, see things from different perspectives, culturally possibly. Just because somebody thinks that one person thinks differently to the majority does not mean that that person is wrong. Yeah. Just because we are all, so many of us are thinking the same thing, doesn't make it right. Absolutely. It just becomes societal norms, doesn't it? Things become societal norms. For example, drinking alcohol isn't a good thing in any way, but people do argue it, and people say, oh yes, a little bit of this is good for your body. Well, I don't think any science shows that, any amount of alcohol is actually good for your neurons, neurotransmitters in your brain are negatively affected. So, just because a majority of people, have a certain idea about something and think, yeah, this is good for whatever reason, doesn't mean to say that it is necessarily a good thing. So things that stop us, yes, feeling shame, feeling that we're going to be humiliated, people are going to laugh at us. If we brought this idea to the table, you might be thinking, oh, I think this is a really good idea, but I'm a bit scared of what others may think, and you might feel intimidated by others because of their position. And, when we're talking about feeling psychologically safe, we are talking about there is no hierarchy, there is no, status above you. We're all in it together, we're all the same. We all, have ideas, we all have points of view and opinions, and we can bring those ideas to the table. And it's inviting people to do that. And that is truly a psychologically safe environment where you allow people to do that. And when people do make mistakes, again, it's not an opportunity to, make fun of and humiliate and, completely, run people through the mud. It's not an opportunity for that. It's an opportunity for us all to learn something new and, be better next time, to improve, to grow, to evolve, to learn is all. And then to think about, to approach a similar problem in a different way is a sign of intelligence, isn't it? Because if you do the same thing over and over again and expect a different outcome, you're probably not going to get that. But if you slightly tweak things and do things slightly differently, you may get a different outcome. It might not be better, it might be different. But then doing it again and doing it again, you may then get to a place where, it is a better outcome. And, it's a win-win situation. So psychologically safe for me is allowing that other person, allowing others to share, to ask questions, to share their points of view. If it's, from a cultural point of view, even if it's from a religious or a political point of view, but at least allow that person to share and, and not judge them for it, but just sit with it, and allow that person to do that. Because, you might not think it's a good idea, but the next time, because you've allowed them to do that and share, you might say, oh, well, okay, thank you for that idea, but what about this? And have you thought about that? And then that person may mull on it and think, but if you completely slam them down, well, the next time that they may actually have a really good idea, they're not going to share it. You're going to miss out. And that's a shame. So feeling psychologically safe is a good thing. It brings people to their, I think, closest to their authentic self. So if they have a good, sense of humor, they can bring that to the table and just think how that would enhance that working environment and relax things down. Because when you have a little bit of humor and a little bit of, people's personality, come up to the surface, it reduces cortisol, stress hormone, and it increases the good hormones, your dopamine and your endorphins and your serotonin, your happy hormone. So these things, there's a place for everything, and there's definitely, I think, we need more of this psychologically safe environment within the workplace. I feel that there's too much of hierarchy type of situation where people are, of a higher status, and because they're in a higher status, that makes them somehow more knowledgeable, but not necessarily. It just means that they've probably been in that organization longer than you have, and they've got to where they have. Not always, I'm not judging anyone here, but I'm just pointing out different I think different aspects of the working environment and how things can be the way they are. And it's not always that, that the cleaner that's cleaning your office, is not going to have some kind of, view about something. Absolutely they can. And, they might, anyone can come up with a good idea, and you might be something, oh yeah, I never really thought of that, there you go. So I think having a safe, psychological, safe environment is very good for our mental health. It's good for us as far as reaching our sort of potential and thriving, not just surviving, but thriving. And if we can do that in places of work, in places of sort of schools and colleges and universities, we are allowing people to grow and learn and share. And that is educational for all of us, because we can all learn from each other. And so I think that's really, really important. So I wanted to make this video on the basis of, I feel not everyone does feel psychologically safe. People are frightened about sharing their opinion, and they're only frightened about sharing their opinion because of past experiences and stigma around that. It might be within the family. It might be that you're the youngest sibling, let's say, and as soon as you open your mouth, the older siblings sort of say, oh, what a ridiculous idea, what a stupid thing to say, this and that. So you might have grown up in that environment. I certainly did. Being the youngest of 4 siblings, sometimes my point of view was, the naive one. And, so I think it took some years for me to sort of say, just because my point of view is different to yours doesn't mean to say it's wrong. Let me at least air it. Let me at least hold it and own it. I think you should respect it. Not just because, I'm the youngest doesn't mean to say I've got to follow all your ways of thinking and your ways of living life. It doesn't mean that. So yeah, I think it's really, really important. I hope you found the content of this video helpful. Please do share, please do like, please do subscribe. Thank you to those of you who have subscribed. We have a few, but we do need many more in order to, sort of build this community. And let's hope that does happen. So thank you for watching this video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, look after your hearts and soul. Thank you.